Hey y'all, quick not safe for work warning for the content in this podcast. If you don't want to hear mentions of genitalia, I suggest you just give this episode a pass. Now, without further ado...
Alright, it's time for the UniSFA podcast. Hi, welcome back to the UniSFA podcast. I'm John, as usual. Cam is also here. He is no longer sick as a dog.
I'm sick as a slightly less sick dog.
And Chase is also here. First ever friend of the show, Chase. Chase, what was the last time you got chased by something?
I mean, the obvious answer is that my responsibilities will catch up to me
Apart from
eventually.
your responsibilities and your
Oh,
past.
come on. You can't count those two out. They're the most fun answers.
The UniSFA podcast isn't about fun.
No,
It's
let's
about-
see how much dead air we could get while we wait for Chase to come up with an answer.
I'm trying to think of the last time I was in earnest. I think it might have been by a turkey
Yeah, that's fair.
at like a petting zoo.
Turkeys will do it.
Which was on the same day that I realized that I like turkeys because they're wretched creatures.
Yeah, no, they are. Chickens have like a big fucking back foot claw, like on the back of their foot, not their back feet. They've only got 2 feet. That's like the size of my thumb. Those fuckers are absolutely terrifying.
Oh no, I
But
mean,
they're also
when
nice little guys.
I think about turkeys as being wretched creatures, the reason I'm thinking about that is because like their faces are scrotes.
Isn't the country
They
Turkey
do have face
changing their
squirts.
name?
That's news to me. I'm sorry for interrupting your real question with face squirts. Are they doing that? Are they changing their name?
I think so.
Neat. What
Do
to
we-
do?
do
That and like Kiev, like in because there's chicken Kiev.
I'm aware of
how many-
chicken Kiev, yeah.
How much geographical damage have birds caused?
I don't think. I feel like the place name came before the chicken
It did,
thing.
but like,
Well, yeah, because I assume it was first done there.
yeah,
I didn't think Kiev was
I-
changing its
I-
name. I think it's just changing how it's pronounced
Oh,
to be
yeah.
pronounced
Kiev.
Kiev, which
Well, I
is
thought it was already pronounced Kiev. We were just all wrong about
yeah.
that.
I think
I
that's
think
the point.
I
Is
think
that
we were,
I think they're
yeah.
making a point of saying
Oh, they're
because
changing
this
the
is
phonetic, like the spelling of it?
maybe because I think
Yeah.
it's like this is how you would actually say it in
KWV now?
Ukraine. Saying Kiev, I think, is how you would sort of say it with a Russian.
Well, I mean, Kiev is just what we're used to saying. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
let me get the remote.
But I feel like I think that's maybe because like that's how it would be pronounced if you were saying it Russian-ish.
I mean, I would pronounce it in many ways. Like,
List
pronunciation
10.
of words is... okay, Kiev, Kiev, Jackie Chan.
Fuck, you can't do it.
They have five ways to pronounce Kiev that aren't Jackie Chan.
Well, I just fucked that one up, didn't I?
Yeah,
That was
I
the
was giving you a
bit.
second chance. Have either
the
of you
second
experienced
chance.
some sci-fi or fantasy in the past week? Because last I checked, birds and also cities and countries real most of the time.
Oh, I've got some bad
Terrible
news for
news
you,
about
bud.
birds.
Yeah, it's all downhill for birds, dude. Birds is over.
Oh no.
We're all out of birds now.
Did they get cancelled on Twitter?
They got moved to fantasy, not sci-fi, so they're not extinct. They're just magical now.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
It's terrible,
I was gonna
though.
make a bit of if they got
No,
cancelled.
seagulls
by-
are wizards now. It's awful.
If they got cancelled on Twitter, then they created their own downfall. They got the bird.
No,
Right.
Twitter's
The
not
blue
a bird.
bird. Yes, it is.
No. Apparently, according to the Twitter company, it's not a bird.
What?
What do they think
Yeah,
it is?
it's a Twitter.
Fuck you, it's a
No,
photo.
obviously it's a fucking bird, right?
Obviously, it's a fucking Twitter.
Yeah, but it's like apparently they're like, no, it's not a bird. Fuck you. This is a real position that they have.
Why would you have that
This
position?
is the
I
hill
think
they've
this-
decided to die on. I don't fucking know
What, that
why.
Twitter is
You know what it is?
Twitter?
You can't copyright a bird.
Yeah, but you can copyright a specific drawing of a bird. You can copyright Donald fucking Duck.
You can't.
You
Donald
can't.
Duck is public domain, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but he was copyrighted for a very long time.
Yeah, I guess. But like,
That's
you
just
can't
because he's
copyright him
old,
now.
not because he's a bird.
He's an old
Don't-
bird.
Yeah.
Donald Duck's well past his prime. He should be dead.
Jesus. Wow. All right.
John looked at me so intensely when he said that.
I have strong opinions on the mortality of Disney characters.
I mean, if we're gonna go with Disney characters as a classification, yeah, kill them.
Kill them all.
I'll do it. Give me a sec.
New Kingdom Hearts X Hitman game looking great.
Oh, fuck, I would play that.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
Hitman, but you just annihilate like fictional characters you don't like. There's a market for this. It's like, what's that new fighting game?
There's so many.
Well,
the new one,
multiverses.
multiverses, right?
You put in
Multiverses,
Agent
but
47 and multiverses.
well, no, you get like a special mode where you play as Agent 47 and you just beat the shit out of the cast.
I'm pretty sure that'd just be like playing as Agent 47 and being good at the game.
No, it's a first-person shooter now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like it's a Hitman style game
Well,
that you just.
Well, I was going to say isn't the point of Hitman
Hitman's-
not to kick everybody's ass? It's only to kick a specific few asses.
Well, I mean, it depends. Like,
Also,
Hitman.
Hitman's not a first-person shooter. It's a third-person game.
Well,
that
look,
stealth
yeah,
game.
okay, fine. Third-person stealth shooter, whatever. you shoot and kill members of other franchises, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think that's good.
Trying to think of other birds that I think should have the death penalty.
All of them.
A lot of them often already.
Now that they're all
That's true.
wizards, it's time. That's it. For
Are you saying that all wizards are like kill on sight?
My wonderful fiance is a wizard, and yes,
Oh no. Also, look at Cam over here bragging that he has a fiance.
Yeah, Cam.
To a
jeez.
bunch of people, the UniSFA podcast is so far-reaching that these people don't know that Cam has a.
yeah,
Fiance.
I'm flexing here. I am flexing. Merlin's wonderful.
Talking about first-person shooters, something the one bit of new sci-fi media / fantasy media I experienced this week was playing Black Mesa because my internet was out. So
Oh,
I'm like,
sick.
I guess I'm playing a single-player game, and I played the very kind of start of Black Mesa. For those who don't know, Black Mesa is a fan-made remake of Half-Life 1 that kind of brings it up to the level of Half-Life 2, maybe like a little above.
So it's like a full life at that point.
I'm so
Cam, you're
sorry.
too
I
funny.
burped
Get
on
out.
camera.
You're allowed to burp on camera, just not into the microphone.
The
Yeah,
problem I
I'd
have with
swear.
playing Half-Life, there's two things. The first thing is that one of the voice actors of a random scientist who talks to you and then opens the door to go into the room where all the shit goes down.
Yeah, I know the guy.
He's voiced by the narrator of Stanley Parable, and I cannot. If you're going to put that guy in a game, he's going to be the narrator of Stanley Parable, who is like isekai'd into your game.
I do have to just quickly say I'm so glad that I've been away for a week and immediately we're going straight back into like things I should have played but haven't.
Everyone should have played Half-Life
And
by
Stanley
now, but
Parable.
hasn't. I haven't played Stanley Parable either,
Oh,
but I
fair
do
enough.
know what the narrator sounds like. and-
Everything I know about Half-Life, I'm pretty sure this is. I might be about to make myself look like an idiot.
Not hard.
Thanks.
I mean, we've all been there. I meant for all of us.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's Half-Life where everything I know about it comes from like fucking around in Gmod as a
absolutely.
as a tween.
Everyone does.
And like Half-Life is like head crabs and barnacles and stuff, right?
There and there, yeah.
And the like the bald scientist that T-poses.
Yeah. What's his name?
See, Alex is dead?
You mean like the Freeman?
Yeah, I think so.
See,
No. Bubby. Yeah, that's his name.
Gary.
Bubby.
Garry.
The
Gary
bald
S.
one's-
Mod.
The bald one's Bubby.
Mr. Smod?
No, the bald one's Bubby.
You know about Gary Smod?
I don't think I believe the idea that scientist has been called Bobby and no one's ever told me that before.
That's true.
Really?
No, this is a reference to a web series.
Oh,
fair enough.
Half-Life in VR, but the AI is self-aware.
I've heard of this.
yeah, I
It's
think I've
pretty.
heard of that.
It's wild. It's a wild web series. One of the characters is Bubby and uses that player model.
All I
okay.
can think of is a really dumb like Half-Life parody that's just stuck in my head that I can probably quote like word for word, but I don't want to do that on the podcast because that feels like it would be rude.
I kind of just want to. There's some great character names in Half-Life VR, including Bubby, Gordon, of course, Benry, Dr. Coomer, Sunkissed the dog.
These are pretty good names.
Yeah, that's
My
pretty
favorite
good.
bit of Sunkissed the dog is it's in Garry's mod, but like they've recreated
Is
it
it
of
the head
Half-Life 1.
crab?
No, Sunkissed is a 2D JPEG of a dog.
Nice.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Before we hold on, I gotta get this off my chest. It's about fake names. So for a while, I was doing forced volunteer work at the Museum of Perth.
Wait, why were you being...
That's
were
just
being
how it is
forced.
on this bitch of an earth.
He found out the truth about birds. And
No,
they forced him to work
it
there.
would have been taken off of my payments if I did not do something
Oh,
while I was
that's fair.
studying.
Oh, I'm just like, I would love to volunteer at the Museum of Perth.
No, that's not the Perth Museum. It's the Museum of Perth.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyway, it was archiving, right? So it
Oh,
was, we
yeah,
were,
okay,
like,
yeah,
going
that sounds
through
awful.
like old newspapers and shit, and like
The
writing down what they were. And after a while, they were like, "Oh, this guy's actually taking it somewhat seriously. Let's get him onto the fun project where we archive like prison records from like the early settler days."
What makes that more fun?
There's people to talk to, and it's like I'm doing something that's better than just random articles at random.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I was like, all right, fuck it. If I'm going to be doing this job, I'm going to like take it somewhat seriously. So I found like an old serialized story, right? Because then at least I'm reading a fucking book for what the work is, right? That was not so bad. It was a story about like a dude who he like it was like a horse girl story. This dude was like the best with horses, and he became like a coachman in early like gold rush Australia. At one point in the story, he has to like have a fake identity because it's like anime tier plots. This guy's got so much shit going on. But the fake name, and we're talking this story was published like last century, like first half of last century would be my guess. You want to take a guess at the greatest fake name I've ever heard in my life?
Guy Incognito.
No.
Horsey McHorse guy.
Spanker Bud. First name Spanker. Last name Bud.
No middle name?
No middle name. I mean, might have had one, but it wasn't the backstory.
Spanker, no bud.
Yeah, right, Spanker Bud. I've been using it. Well, I've been considering using it for my Lancer pilot's name, but I realized I'd have to live with my first name being Spanker for the whole campaign. I don't think I can do it.
I didn't know you were going to
to
do a Lancer campaign.
I'm not running it. I'm in it.
Ah,
Yeah,
cool.
JBB's running it. He's in.
Oh,
in
sweet.
shout out to JBB and Anik in Germany.
Yeah, I was going to say friend of the
J-
show.
JBV and Unique, friend of the show.
I was going to say, so are they doing that from Uni?
From Germany, yeah.
That's pretty cool.
The other thing I wanted to bring up about Half-Life is that I've played so many... I'm sure this is the case for many people. I've played so many Source games, like CS, Garry's Mod, TF2, the other Half-Lifes, that when I'm
That is
playing...
all of them, John.
No, there's surely more. Portal 2.
Shit. Son
Fuck
of a bitch.
you. Also, Garry's Mod is a game, but it's also like 12 games.
Yeah, Garry's
Yeah.
Mod's a game maker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just played Dark RP on it, like everyone else did.
Oh, I assumed you were talking about playing like Murder and TTT and stuff like
No,
that.
I
I
played
did a
Sandbox
little
mode
bit. I did a
alone like
little
a
bit of
fucking
TTT.
plebeian, and I had like some fun, but not enough to really get into it.
The thing about the Source games is that the sound effects in Source games are no longer... Like, I'm no longer walking over a metal grate and being like, yes, walking a metal grate. Or hitting something with a crowbar and being like, hitting with my crowbar. I'm like, yes, Source sound effect 64 and Source
Yeah.
sound effect 332.
Oh, it's a TF2 hit sound.
Yeah.
Bonk.
It
Ding,
ruins
ding,
all
ding,
the,
ding.
It ruins all the immersion.
Yeah, I bet.
Also, my TF2 hit sound, I believe, is the Quake hit sound.
All right, okay, you hand me your sounds folder, and I will record a new sound with my voice for each one of them. I'll like do my best to get it to be new, but like the right tone.
Really?
This
Yeah, that
almost-
actually sounds fun as hell.
Yeah, I was going to say, this actually sounds like
The UniSFA
a great
podcast
gift.
TF2 sound
I'm gonna
pack.
improve the buzzsaw noise if there is one.
Yeah,
Oh,
there is a
Cam
buzzsaw.
can do a pretty good like electric toothbrush
Oh, my buzzsaw noise is the best noise
Please
I can
do not make that on the podcast.
Really hard not to.
It's so loud too.
It is very loud. I'd have to like get away from the mic.
I really want to hear it.
Ask me
now,
in
though.
person. Not you guys. You two will have to wait.
Yeah.
This is unacceptable.
I mean, I can try it. Worst case, all right. If you don't hear the buzzsaw noise now, it's because we had to edit it out because it was awful.
Yeah.
No, shit, my voice is gone. Oh, this sucks. Hold on.
Cam dies live on air.
No, it's gone. No, I'll try it again later.
To me, that is the noise
cannot
of getting
do the
my teeth
buzzsaw
cleaned
voice.
as
I
a
can't
dentist.
fucking. I'm actually.
it is.
Like
It's
I've
the
been.
dentist noise.
It is.
I've been sort of sad about like my voice being a little bit fucked for the last week or two, but like it just really hurt just now. That's my favorite sound to make, and it's
Can you still
gone.
make the chewy noise?
Probably, yeah.
Did they just take a buzzsaw to your hopes and dreams?
They tried, but the sound wasn't there, so it was just sort of going.
You just kind of got cut in metal silently.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember what my TF2 kill sound was. It was an engineer voice line. I think it was like...
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, it was the engineer voice line of...
Yeah,
It was,
I remember the one.
I think it was... how'd that plan work out for you, buddy? Because that's what I thought every time I kill someone in TF2.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's like, how'd that work out for you? Gotcha. I say as I like snipe some like poor guy.
Yeah, three like hard scope misses, and then you finally like body shot him, and you're like, yeah.
That guy the guy that you were there being like, what the fuck is that guy doing? That's probably me.
I love Team Fortress 2. I'm so fucking bad at it.
Yeah, no, I'm really bad at it. The greatest thing I found was the first thing I got out of like a loot box or whatever the fuck they are, was the thing that I think it's the black box gun or something like that that like heals you when you as the soldier like hurt people or something like that.
Yeah, less ammo, but on a hit you get health back.
Yeah, that's the only thing that keeps me alive in TF2 is because I'm very bad at it and I just like playing the soldier. Because although I did find I have way more like success being a pussy and playing as a demo man and just leaving a bunch of bombs somewhere I know people are eventually going to go.
That's strategy. I played sniper because I was I really wanted to like
because you wanted to piss in a jar.
That's true.
I did that outside of the game. I just really wanted to like prove that I was better than all these nerds, and I wasn't really. But I'm pretty good at killing other snipers. I can't hit a moving target, but if you're another sniper, I'm killing you.
Yeah, no, that is the reason to play sniper, is to flex on nerds.
Yeah,
See,
exactly. That and spy.
My issue is that I'm like, all right, I want to be able to contribute to like fucking around, right? I want to find like some kind of meat grinder to run into and just run into that, right? But I can't play demo or soldier because I can't rocket jump, and at this point I'm too scared to learn. And so I play. Yeah, look, I know, it's embarrassing.
I don't know that I'm not sure that I ever rocket jumped without hurting myself at least a little bit.
No, you always
that's
hurt
what
yourself.
rocket jumping is. Yeah, well, yeah, generally.
I assumed that there was a way that if you did it right, you wouldn't hurt
There is
yourself.
a tool called the rocket jumper, which is a rocket launcher which does no damage.
Would that mean that I would then no longer be able to use the black box gun?
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's never going to
Also,
happen.
you wouldn't be able to damage people with your rocket launcher, which would be pretty rough.
That
You
would
gotta,
be
like switch
pretty
to a
rough.
melee weapon with it. It's a fun thing. There's some cool builds for it, but like, so I last time I tried playing, I played Pyro a lot. Pyro's pretty fun.
Pyro's pretty fun.
Pyro disturbs me a lot.
It's really cool to be able to reflect people's rockets back at them.
Yeah.
But I am not good at it.
But the meet the team thing
Yeah.
Da, 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 da,
just really freaks me
da.
out.
What?
The pyro and the meet the team.
I think that's supposed to be freaking you out.
Yeah, but it's more just like the implication of that to me is that the pyro never takes the pyro suit off.
They don't.
They don't.
How does he eat?
They don't.
Do you remember the...
Asbestos diet. I'm not joking. It's an asbestos suit. No one has seen the pyro eat. You just hope that they stop.
I have no fucking clue if this is real lore or not. I've read the comics. I got
There's
no
no
idea.
such thing as real lore with the pyro. That's the whole thing. Like
Oh.
pyro, they're
Look,
just there.
I've seen Meet the Team and I've read one of the comics.
The comics are good.
They
Comics
are
are
pretty
really
good.
good. They will never finish.
They will
I
never
hope
finish.
to God that by saying this on the record, I'm like, they will never finish that. I hope that that's enough to get it over the line.
Lead
The
creator
universe
of the
is like
TF2 comics.
Cam said on the record, it'll never be done. Let's get him.
Let's get the lead
Get
creator
him,
of the
boys.
TF2 comics on the podcast.
Let's just get Gabe Newell again.
Let's get Gabe Newell back on
we
the
are
podcast.
like 2 degrees of separation from Gabe Newell. I need you to know that.
What?
So, UCC, friend of the podcast, UCC,
The entire
our
club.
sister club, once messaged Gabe Newell or emailed Gabe Newell directly, asking if we could get a Vive, right? The
HTC Vive?
yeah, the HTC Vive, and like Gabe's fucking head of giving Vives to folks was like, yeah, all right, and gave us a Vive.
Holy shit.
That's where UCC got its first Vive.
Holy shit. Was it signed?
No, it wasn't signed, but
was
we got
signed in-
it. I don't think Gabe ever saw our email, but like, fucking still counts. So we could find that email address again and like ask Gabe to be on the podcast. Maybe his head of
Holy
being on the
shit.
podcast will turn up.
Yeah, but that's not him.
Maybe
That's
he'll give me a
his head of-
Vive.
Maybe
Gabe
Newell
Newell.
is the head of being on the podcast for Valve.
Gabe, if you're out there, man, hit me up with that Vive.
I should do with a vibe.
Oh man, I would love to have a VR set. Those things are so cool.
They are really cool.
I don't know what I'd do with one. I don't think I'd use it enough to justify owning it.
See, that's the thing. I don't think you have to use it much to justify owning it, right? Because even if you get like say you use it like once every month, right? You're going to use it for like 6 hours.
Yeah, I suppose that's
So
true.
say you do that for like 10
Yeah.
months. That's 60 hours. Starts to get to be like a reasonable cost per dollar. It's not great. You want to use it a lot. And
Yeah.
like,
The other thing is that I'm... to be fair, this has only happened with that one like spaceship driving game that I think, Cam, you got me to play.
oh
on
yeah, I
camp
got
in
everyone to
3D.
play fucking. I got everyone to play Star Wars Squadrons at camp, and it was great.
Oh,
Yeah, and I nearly threw up. And then I nearly
so
threw up.
sick.
It was that was a childhood dream of mine. Is to like VR play some kind of Star Wars like spaceships game, and like it helped me. I was better in the VR set because I could look up, and like there was a part of my soul that was like, I knew I could do it. I knew I could.
You did it.
Do it.
It made me feel
baby
violently ill.
Yeah, don't get a headset.
Yeah, so
And
now,
that was
but
also
that was the
during
first
the
time
cams.
that had happened too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time that had happened with VR, and I've done other stuff on VR, but yet that made me violently ill, so I'm like, no.
Yeah. It might have been the like spaceship you were spinning.
Yeah, I think it
It
was
might-
spinning because I wasn't good at
It
the
might
game.
have helped if we'd gotten a different cockpit for you. You want something where you can see a lot more things that aren't spinning, so that
Yeah.
it becomes that other things are spinning and you're staying still. Whereas if you've got like a big open cockpit, which is probably what we were using because I would have been in the A-wing because I'm that kind of shithead. Yeah, there's a lot of openness, so you are the one
Yeah.
spinning, and that'll get you.
So what did you all do on Garry's mod when you played it? Because I can talk about Dark RP because that's a strange. I don't know when I was playing Dark RP. It was in like late primary school. Do either of you know what Dark RP is?
I've
No.
heard of it.
It's probably the most popular Garry's mod game mode for public service, at least in Australia.
Before you say what it is, I'm going to give you my guess, which is
Okay.
that it is what you do when you're a child being edgy on Garry's mod.
Almost, yeah.
It's just like a place to be edgy on Garry's mod and be like, I'm doing an evil act. I'm doing dark roleplay.
I think me explaining what I used to do on Gary's mod is much funnier in the context of you explaining what it is first, so go. Tell us what it is.
Did you do Dark RP?
No, I did something else on Gary's mod, but
Do you want to guess what Dark RP is?
It's just a regular role-playing server, but you cannot see anything.
I think that it
You
is...
roleplays the concept of being the dark.
Dark RP, I reckon it would be something like... Well, because Gary's mod, it's got to be, I assume, at least to a point about, like, building stuff. I suppose it doesn't have to be. But, I don't know, is it just building, like, incredibly, like, complex Rube Goldberg-style machines that just lead to killing an NPC or something like that?
No, but I really wish it was now.
That does sound fun.
That sounds really good. No, Dark RP was... It was such a plain server. It is just roleplay, and the dark is kind of... You're roleplaying in a very shitty city. Most of them use the same map. And I had half the textures missing, because, you know...
It's Garry's mod, yeah.
It's Garry's mod. And I
You
didn't
got
have,
that
like,
sweet
CSS.
pink and blue?
Yeah, the pink and black.
Sorry, the pink and black, yeah, check it.
So you're just RPing like you're in a shitty city. So like the roles are like criminal, like hobo, drug dealer, arms dealer, police officer, that kind of thing.
So I'm completely correct with my first guess.
Yeah, basically.
Sick.
So you just went around like if you could
Yeah.
build if you were like if you're a criminal you might build like a little hideout. If you're an arms dealer you'd build like a little gun store. You'd have to work out how to like sell things.
That's fun.
Yeah, it was quite fun.
That's good for
when
a
you're a criminal,
growing
you set up
mind.
like you buy some guns. You know what? Maybe you mug some people. You set up like a little raid on the gun store. But it's also because all these people playing it they're playing shitty roleplay in Garry's mod. So not like
There's
all
no
the people-
civilians. Yeah, everyone's some kind
Yeah.
of hyper criminal.
Yeah, but like people don't roleplay great in these scenarios,
Of course
right?
not.
So like there's very specific rules. Like you got to announce a raid or whatnot, or you set up like a building sign to be like, I'm building, don't attack me.
Yeah.
You have to like be like set up areas for kill on site. You have to set up like little locked doors. It was a lot of fun, but sometimes things would just break down because like you can't if you're not like a criminal, you can't like what's the term? RDM? God,
I don't know what that.
you don't know
Random-
what RDM means? Random deathmatch. Basically means
Oh, okay.
killing someone for no
For no
reason.
reason.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay. So
For
you're
no
not allowed to
reason,
just
no
be,
roleplay
you can be a
reason for
criminal,
it.
but you can't be like a random
Yeah,
serial
you can't
killer.
just go around killing people.
That's good for the roleplay.
That's my favorite kind of being. That's my favorite kind of being a killer.
Yeah, and like the admins,
Random serial killer.
you fuck up, the admins will like freeze you with their gun and drag you to the top of the building, give you a little talking to.
That's what happened to me in real life.
Did you like go unconscious and God pulled you with like a physics gun from Garry's
I
mod?
was conscious.
He was not given the privilege of being unconscious.
Yeah, it would have been great.
As he served his sentence from God himself.
Also, a quick bit before I forget, the Cursed Halo mod update added a texture remover gun, which like you shoot it and it removes the texture and replaces it with like the pink and black squares of
That's
whatever you
fantastic.
shoot. You can annihilate the skybox with this.
Yeah, I imagine.
you hit enemy like objects and it's like, oh shit, the jackal shield has been fucking it's textureless.
I
Ow,
remember
my jackal shield.
I remember acutely the first time you told me about the Cursed Halo mod
That's
because
so good,
It's
dude.
very good.
I didn't. You said Cursed like they've added the texture remover gun to Halo, and I was like, what? You didn't mention it was a mod at first? And I'm like, so you're just telling me they added this to Halo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
You know, Halo,
Wow,
a game they're actively updating.
Yeah, they added the long warthogs.
Making something... I didn't realize that I was so easy to please, and I guess in a way I did realize that. But games where things, like any like cursed whatever mod, where something's just a little bit longer than it's supposed to be.
Oh, I mean, a little bit longer would have been like, that's where he started, but like
we're
talking long hogs. We're talking like, have you played Conan Exiles?
No.
No.
It's a game where you can get a long hog. Shout out to anyone who knows what the fuck I'm talking about.
I know what Conan Exiles is.
In the context of
hogs.
Conan, I'm only going to assume dong.
Yeah, it's a game where there's full frontal nudity, and there is a hog size slider in character creation.
Is there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty infamous. You could get some real, as I said, long hogs, but like
Anyone who doesn't choose, if you have a penis size slider and you don't choose to make your penis either...
no middle sliders anywhere, right?
No, yeah, if you don't choose to either give yourself a micro penis or a penis that is going to interact funnily with the environment.
Oh, it's got physics, yeah.
It's got
Yeah.
physics.
Oh yeah, no.
If you don't do one of
see
those
people
two,
trying
if
to
you
stream it, and they're like, okay,
I'm
so
going to have
I've
to
blurred
put
out
in
my
a
front, and
content
they're like,
warning for this episode
they're
now.
facing
You've
away
put
from-
in like 30 minutes of extra work for me.
sick.
Content warning,
It'll
dong.
make up for the missing Doug section.
Fucking
Have you
dumb.
seen this
I'm
man?
gonna- apparently
I
Doug's
can't
a
keep him
recurring
out.
bit.
I can't keep him out. He's a guardian, you know.
Oh shit, we should make Doug a guardian. I mean, by we,
Doug
I
is a
can't do
guardian.
that.
How do you think I can't kick him out of the room? I don't have the power.
I
Every
also-
time I vote to kick him out, I'm like, guys, we should kick him out. Everyone, you, Cam, and the guests have always been like, no.
I manifest physically, yeah.
Yeah. He's been like, we should keep him in.
But yeah, no, anytime anyone tries to stream it, because, like, you know, your character's facing away from the screen normally, so it's fine, right? No. Sometimes you'll see shadows, sometimes you'll crouch, and it's down there.
This
man.
reminds me of how excited some people are about these features in Cyberpunk 2077.
How was the dong sliders in Cyberpunk?
I don't know. I didn't really use them.
That's fair. You
Coward.
can't admit to having used them anyway live on this podcast.
I was a coward.
I would've used
I
them.
was
Okay.
a coward. I selected the no genitals option. My guy had nothing.
Honestly, probably what I would have done as well.
Yeah.
No, I feel that.
I was like, this part of the game.
I wouldn't feel comfortable playing that part of the game,
No,
right? Not even in my
no.
own home. It's like,
Well,
I don't know, man. Yeah, no, I fully feel. And like, good for you if you could enjoy that. I can't do it.
Yeah. The other game that comes to mind when I'm thinking full nudity character creation is Rust.
Yeah, Rust is similar. Conan Exiles is a Rust.
The thing about
Like,
Rust,
it's a Rust
do you know
clone.
how Rust character creation works?
Yeah, you get a random character. You don't get to choose anything.
Yeah, the character I believe is linked to your Steam profile.
Yes, you
it's
get
like
random
your
gender,
Steam,
height, race, everything's
your
randomized.
Steam ID is like used to calculate
Yeah.
your character
It's
creation.
great. People got so upset.
Well,
It's
because
so
they couldn't
funny.
choose what they looked like.
Yeah.
Yes.
And some of them were real fucking gamer types who ended
Yeah.
up as like women, and they were like, "No, I don't want to be a woman or a person of color.
I think my
I'm
favorite...
going to be a real baby about this."
I think my
Right.
favorite, being angry about being a woman in a
In
video
video
game.
games?
I've seen this, and it just really fucking made me laugh about how unaware some people are.
Yeah.
Was
Top 5 moments of
top 10 moments of gamer sexism.
top 5. Guys, let's all name our top 5 moments
let's
we
not
got
pretend-
angry about being a woman. in
Let's not
video
pretend
games.
that makes top 5 gamer sexism moments, bud.
You're right.
Unfortunately.
But it was this like comment in the, I don't remember what the game was called, but it's the most recent like Warhammer game where you're specifically a sister of battle.
Oh, yep.
And I remember
What?
seeing something. You're a nun with a gun.
It was the VR game as well.
Yeah.
So it was
I
like
just don't
real cool and
recognize this
immersive.
game.
And like people were like, "Why couldn't I be a space marine?"
But I just remember seeing that and being like, people know, like, and you guys covered it on the first episode of the podcast. It's like, the Space Marines aren't people.
they're not. Well,
You, as a human man, have so much more in common with a human woman than a Space Marine.
it's true. It is true.
Your body is so much more similar to a human woman's than a Space Marine's.
It's a lie. I'm a real space marine, guys.
You're not 8 feet
No, I'm
tall
gonna
and
be
you
a
don't have
Space
2
Marine.
I'm
hearts.
gonna be a space.
I've barely got one heart.
No, you have too much heart. I thought that was the
That's
problem.
true. No, my heart's too fucking
too many
muscular.
lungs.
That is the problem. My
Cam's
lungs are too
too
long. My
many-
heart's too ripped. Everything's fucked in my
You
body.
chose-
Cam's the Grinch and his
My
heart
blood's
grew
too
3
sharp.
sizes and now he's going to explode.
There is nothing that works properly in my
on
whole
character creation.
garbage.
Can really put the lung slider up.
The lung and heart slider up.
But all of those spare points, dick.
I was
That's
gonna
a
say
bad
your.
joke. I'm sorry, everyone.
I was gonna say your finger slipped when you're adjusting that slider and went to the lung slider.
Yeah. Yeah, no, all my points went into lung length.
Ah,
Real lung length build. Let's go.
guys, I'm gonna be honest. I don't feel like this episode's gonna be in the top 5 UniSFA podcast episodes.
It's top 5 so far,
Yeah, I was
bud.
going to say, John,
It's not.
Top
This
5
is
sorted by
episode 3.
time.
It's not.
John, there's only 3 episodes.
Yeah.
You think this is a top 5 for long, or you think this is going to be a classic that the kids talk about in generations
I don't
from
think
now?
any kids are going to be talking about the UniSFA podcast in generations from now. I think
That's fair.
I am so looking forward. I am so looking forward to 20 years from now, when/if UniSFA still exists, some like new committee member dredging through the old files and finding this and being, who are these people?
I feel like 20 years from now, I'm either some kind of cube or I'm like hanging from the like ceiling, like melded to it, like I'm fucking like Captain Keyes.
What?
What?
Wait, have you not played Halo?
No.
Oh, he gets like got by. Spoilers for
Captain
Halo
Keyes.
1.
Okay, I didn't
He gets
have
got
you.
by the
Halo.
flood, and like he's sort of in like a blob, and you have to like go rescue him, and you go find him, and he's like too much in the blob, and you're like, oh, I can't rescue this.
He's
I
too
just have to
blob.
sort of,
and I must scream.
you just have to sort of beat him. To
Yeah,
death.
John's seen
It's,
like 3 things.
I've seen iconic John moments of naming my top 5 things and naming and saying I could only name 4 and then only naming 3.
That's one way of avoiding saying Jackie Chan.
I think the podcast. Cam, you don't listen to the podcast, right?
I've never listened to a podcast.
Yeah,
in my
Cam
life.
didn't listen to the last podcast, so I think we should just talk. I think I should just say all the bits from the last podcast
Okay.
and then have you laugh at them.
Unironically, I would be in full support of that. I don't think the audience would, but like I
Autumn was
love
here earlier.
saying the same bit again.
Autumn was here earlier.
If,
We can get her
there
in.
is a member of the audience who hasn't heard a bit, I will repeat that bit for them because God
if there is a member
damn-
of the audience listening right now at home or on the bus,
Yeah.
you will repeat it for
yeah,
them.
yeah, yeah.
Is
No,
that the
no.
two? I forgot
real.
those are the 2
No,
places you're allowed to listen
Yeah,
to the
we'll
in
get
podcast.
real
you.
life, if I get a bit, I'm like, oh sweet, every single motherfucker I'm currently like speaking to actively is going to hear this bit.
Oh yeah, that's I've told like the same 5 stories to everyone I've ever met.
Okay,
Yeah.
really.
Oh no, it's like every time I get a new story, everyone hears.
What
it.
are the 5 stories, Chase?
Um,
Number 1, the hero's journey.
You're
Number
right.
2, Chase's journey to the shops. Number 3, Chase choosing what shirt to wear for the UniSFA podcast.
The villain's trudge?
Number 4, the villain's trudge.
number 5 is what I used to do on Gmod.
Number 5, how I met your mother.
Lads,
Number
we
5
did it. Lads, we did it. That's 5 things. None of those things with Jackie Chan.
Number 5
Yeah.
and a half, Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Your mother
There we go.
was Jackie Chan.
But John, just to give a comparison to what you used to do on Gmod, I actually think what I did was cooler, and what I did was play Prop Hunt.
Oh, Prop Hunt
that's-
is sick. I've never played Prop Hunt.
It's
I'm so
so
sad about
fun. I would just be a banana. But the thing is that if you're going to
it.
be
Slippery motherfucker.
We
If
can
you-
do UniSFA plays Gmon.
Yeah,
if
I love
you're
that.
going to be a big object that's obvious, I feel like you have the license to not run around as that object.
Yeah, if you're a little
But if
dude,
you're
you gotta
going to
be
be a
running.
little bitch and you're going to be a banana, which is what I did whenever possible, you got to run around.
Yeah, that's an agility build.
So really, what you're yeah. So and honestly, in the pursuit of being a banana, I feel like very often you would become whatever the banana was sitting on because Gmod's janky as fuck.
It's so janky. I love
So
it.
I'd be like, I'm gonna be this. I'm selecting the banana and I'm pressing E on
Did
my
you choose
keyboard, and then you become the
specifically
table.
the banana every time, or is this just an example?
If the banana was available, I'd usually go for the banana. Other favorites of mine were like, there's a little figurine, like a hula girl figurine, like you'd have on the dashboard of a truck.
Wait, are you describing how to choose a Gmod like problem thing? Or are you describing how to decide what to have for lunch?
I just eat one of those
What?
plastic figurines
Yeah.
or a banana. That's my diet, and that's
The
why
only- yeah.
I have terrible, terrible health.
The only truck decoration that I can like conceive of is truck nuts.
Not even like the fuzzy dice.
No, it's just truck nuts in there. Because why would I think about other truck decorations when it could be truck nuts?
I had a thought the other day that was that truck nuts, the truck nuts are funny because they're pathetic.
You're putting nuts on a truck. I mean, that's funny by itself.
But like, I was thinking, like, what if you? I think that if I saw someone who had like a pink Cadillac, like a shitty, or not a shitty, but like a stereotypical girly car
Yeah.
with truck nuts on it, I think that was the coolest person ever.
Yeah.
Because that's
Okay.
really funny.
Speaking of repeating bits to people that haven't heard them, Jono and I's fucking... This is not this John, a different John.
I can't believe you're cheating on John with another John.
I'm gonna cry.
You'd like John.
You would like Jono.
Yeah, Jono's good.
No, I don't.
All right, fair enough. Well,
Oh,
anyway,
wait, you
moving
meant
on.
Jono? Oh, yeah, he's probably cool.
Good save.
I was going to say, brave of you to make a hard stance on someone you've never met.
We were discussing like the nutsack, right, as the most like fucking like weird part of the human body, right? And
I have heard this.
it's a part of the. Sorry about the editing, John. It's the most.
We
I
got
think
to
you
3
can just-
episodes before devolving into nut talk.
This is like the
This is
fourth
just how I
time
live
on
my
this.
life.
Peanuts.
I
Am I
need you to
right?
know that like you are like one of the only people that like you've hit that point in the friendship with me that it's nutsack time. All right.
I'm glad I've hit the nutsack point in our
You've hit the
friendship.
Yeah.
the nutsack threshold.
Yeah, you've hit the scrot limit.
If you, John, if you want, but pre the beginning of the episode, I'll record a content warning that says "content warning: scrotes and ass."
for about 5, maybe more than 5 years, my Steam name was Taut Scrot. As in taut, like pulled tight.
Oh, you don't teach it.
No, TAUT.
You don't.
Yeah. So you can't teach it. So the bit with Jono though, because I got to finish this so we can move on. You can't dodge this, right? There's no going around. It's gonna happen.
Yeah, the scrote's coming right at me.
It's here. It's that, like, for something that is like a part of the like the sex experience, technically, right? It's the nutsack. There's no sexy way to put it, right? There's no sexy description for the nutsack. And we tried because we were on a long car journey at this point. We were like, nutsacks are just like you can't. It makes things worse. The closest thing, like, we attempted to find a sexy name for the nutsack. We were out there doing research and development for words for everyone, for the benefit of mankind, right?
A whole new kind of R&D.
Nice. The best we could do, and I'm content warning now, this is awful. The candy wrapper.
I don't even think it's a good analogy.
Oh, no. We're not talking about the balls. We're talking about the scrot. We're
Yeah.
talking about the sack, right? That's the part that we have the problem with here. The balls are just
candy
in
wrapper.
the candy wrapper.
I feel like the candy wrapper, to me, if I heard the term candy wrapper in the context of sex, I'd go, yeah, condom.
What about the goods basket?
Yeah.
The
yeah,
bread
no, I can see
basket.
that.
The bread basket.
Well, because I was thinking, well, you know those like lint chocolate balls? Yeah, the wrapper those fuckers
Oh, they're
come
fucking
in.
delicious.
They are very good, right?
Holy shit.
Which is what, you know, again, like that's sort of wrapper we're talking. That makes it sound more appetizing.
Do not unwrap your balls.
Yeah, don't. That's a good point.
You
I mean,
keep-
do as you want.
Yeah, actually, do it if you want, but don't. Anyway,
Yeah, I'm so sorry, everyone.
It just made me think of. I'm sorry that I'm going further down this path, but I was thinking earlier about
you've
how
already
you both
gone
said
pretty
that
far down.
you
It's
guys
all downhill from here.
as dudes, it's like not really funny. It's sort of pathetic for you to, if you had like chosen to just give yourself a big dong or something in Cyberpunk. I think that's one of my favorite things about not being a man is that like without it being necessarily like
Yeah, you can put the dong slider all the way up and feel no shame.
yeah
Yeah.
because it's like haha, this is funny. No one will think I'm being serious here, except
Yeah.
for potentially on the internet if people don't know that I'm not a man.
Yeah, I'm not like doing this out of shame. I'm choosing this because it's funny. Whereas,
Yeah.
like,
I asked you, what is the point of video games?
it's
Funs.
to have a good time with your buds.
I think it's to have a good time with and without your
Wait, no
buds.
shit. Clicking heads. It's about clicking heads.
You played Pyro. I don't believe you.
I'm not good at clicking heads.
If video games
No,
were
it's
about
to immerse yourself into a fictional world, you know, to do something that you can't usually do. Also to have fun in clicking heads. Those
I think
are the
it's
same
number
thing.
go up. I feel like games go down to number go up. And
Number
I say
go
this
up.
as someone that hates the fact that I've become someone who's always looking to get achievements in games.
Number
Number
a bit of an
two.
achievement hunter. What's your most proud achievement?
Not to be a hashtag girl gamer and say a game that people think isn't a real game, but 100%ing Stardew Valley.
No, that's fucking
That's a
great.
game.
100%
Because it
anything
involves-
is impressive, and Stardew Valley's a fucking game.
Because it involves playing the fucking game within the game, which is
Oh,
always
what?
the thing I love. It involves finishing Journey of the Prairie King, which is one of the arcade games.
Huh.
It
I'm-
sucks. It's a shit game.
I'm really glad it does not involve the other arcade game because I think they've changed it, but it used to be just like an endless. It's like a Flappy Bird. It's you're a
Yeah.
Dynamo in a minecart and you got to jump obstacles and
Oh,
stuff. And I
it's
was
a Flappy
so
Bird.
bad at
That
it.
fucking Journey of the Prairie King ass video game that did get 98% on Metacritic.
Where were you when Flappy Bird happened?
Home.
High school,
Did you
maybe.
I think I was in like late primary school. I didn't really hear much about it until I heard it got like banned.
If you were in late primary school, maybe I was in uni. I don't remember.
You were a lot older than me.
Yeah, I'm fucking ancient.
But it got banned, didn't it?
The guy took it down because people were sending him death threats.
Oh, God.
Really?
And then people sent him more death threats, I'm pretty sure.
That lines up.
Why?
Because it was hard and people got angry at
People
it.
love sending death threats. People fucking love to send death threats to people.
People do love to send death threats.
Especially
Please don't send any
creators.
to the UniSFA podcast.
Yeah, we wouldn't like that. But
Actually, you know what? Don't send death threats.
Don't
send
send
death
I'm going to
threats.
make a blanket statement. Don't send death threats.
I'm
so
proud.
brave. I'm so
You say that.
brave.
Not many people would say that in this day and age.
If you're going to send a death threat, just go fucking fight the guy.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'm the only person brave enough
Don't
to take a
do that
pro-littering
either.
stance.
All right, let's not get into the morals of fighting a guy.
I can't believe you both just ignored me making a Glee reference.
I'm so glad I ignored you making
I
a Glee
haven't.
reference.
I haven't watched Glee.
Mel's been
I-
rewatching Glee again in my house for like a week.
This
That's
is-
how
that
long
was-
Is that
it
why
takes.
Merlin was messaging me saying, "Hey, you should watch Glee"?
Yes.
No, Mel really wants to watch Glee with you, and I think that would be fun.
But yeah, that was a joke from Merlin only.
I'll let it know.
Has
Friend of the show.
Chase, something I want to ask you
Yes.
is over on your Guardian picture over there. It says, "Ask me about." Is it over the garden wall?
Yeah.
What? I'm, for the record, asking you about what is over the garden wall because I've seen that picture there for like years and I have no idea what it is. Like it's a cartoon or something.
Yeah, it's a cartoon. It's a full disclosure. The reason that I made it my like ask me about thing is because I realized that initially my thing was that I was going to put for ask me about was Spider-Man, and I realized
Spider-Man?
that
Spider-Man.
I like Spider-Man a lot, but I don't actually know very much about it because I haven't consumed.
Absolutely legitimate.
Yeah, and I was like, I don't want
Yeah.
someone to ask me about it in a context of a like, hey, what do you think about this minute thing? And then for me to be like,
Yeah, what do you think about any comic? And you're like, oh, Jesus.
But with Over the Garden Wall, I was like, I've seen it a couple of times and know a lot about it, and I like it. So I figured there's not going to easily be someone in the room that knows far more about it than me, which is the risk that I would have to pull doing
The risk of being
Spoiler-Man.
actually.
Yeah, the risk of being actually is not going to happen.
Actually.
Nah, it's so good. Whatever I put up there, I'm a fucking moron anyway.
You put hobbies and interests.
I did. I put hobbies. I couldn't think of... If you put me
I-
on the spot, I cannot think.
Yeah, mine is whatever I'm currently obsessed with, which
Yeah.
was just a cop-out way of me not having to put Homestuck again, because Homestuck was already Merlin's on the Guardian board.
It is difficult when Merlin's already put Homestuck up
But
there.
it's no longer on the Guardian board. I could change mine to Homestuck.
You could.
If I do get to be back up on that board, I will put hobbies and interests again, because I think that's a funny bit now.
Yeah,
I
it's
feel
a pretty
like I
funny bit.
don't have many thoughts about Homestuck. I say as someone who's brought up Homestuck. Now we've brought it up managed to bring up Cyberpunk and Homestuck every single episode of the UniSFA podcast.
You hadn't-
Let's keep it going.
Oh, fuck, you did bring up Cyberpunk. I was going to say you didn't, but no, you did in the context of dong
every
sliders.
single episode. Yeah.
But yeah, do you want to know about Over the Garden Wall?
Yeah.
Okay.
Please.
It's a cute show that's like, it's a little spooky, I guess. It's sort of like,
Like a Gravity Falls-esque in
Yeah.
terms of...
It's-
It's a couple of kids going through it.
yeah, they're lost in the woods, and there's like, it's a fantasy world that they've, it's sort of unclear about the degree to which they already, like, did they live in a fantasy world before, or is it like an Alice in Wonderland thing where they climbed over their garden wall for reasons, and like now they're in an enchanted forest, and there's like frogs.
No, that's the one.
Yeah, there's like frogs that talk, and
That's how frogs are.
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's not really fantasy, is it?
and you're right. And
Were there birds?
yes,
There's
there are
Okay,
birds.
so we're back on the fantasy.
Yeah,
train.
birds are fantasy.
yeah, there's a main character that's a bird.
Yeah.
And also, it's just, I find it very, very, very charming, and also it's like, it's spooky in some ways, like some
It's-
episodes are quite spooky.
It's endearing, though.
And yeah, also it's adorable, and it's,
Aww.
It's worth watching. It's hard to
Yeah.
explain without giving like spoilers to anything. It's one of those shows that's very good but understated, and then it got really big in certain communities to the point that people were like, "I'm not watching that."
yeah.
Oh, fair enough. This
I
feels like my experience
And then
with
it died.
Undertale.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's fair. Undertale is, I think, a similar sort of
Can
video
I-
game that had that emotional depth that then got really big for a while. Although Undertale never stopped being that big.
Yeah, for me, Undertale, I played it like many years after it came out, like 4 or 5 years after it came out. So I was like behind. but I hadn't really been spoiled that much about it. I'd been spoiled that they were like genocide run, pacifist run, or whatever. But going into it, I was like, this is a big fan base, you know, it's going to be this super deep, engrossing story. And then I'm playing it, I'm like, no, this is just really cute and endearing game. It's just so like funny and quirky.
I took a long time.
And then it does get like kind of deep and like very, and I finished the game, I'm like, I'm feeling things.
I took me a long time to get into Undertale, and like I never really got into it because has this ever happened to you? I'm sure it has, right? Where something is
this happened to you?
Pinpoint targeted towards you that you're like, no, I can't, because I'm a big skeletons man, right?
You are a big skeletons man.
People that know me know that I'm generally very pro skeleton, and like Sans and Papyrus were. I got a lot of messages being like, "You'll love these dudes," and I'm like, "Yeah, I probably will." But I've received this message enough times that I'm now like pathologically against playing it. And I played it and I was like, hey, these guys are alright. I like their skeletons.
I don't think I've ever had anything that ever felt like anything was explicitly designed for me in that way. Maybe that's just because I don't think I've ever had someone...
I know what you mean.
I've never had someone message me and say, you'll like this, and then I've interacted with that thing and not liked it.
That's fair.
So if someone's like, hey, I think you'll like this... I have.
I don't remember how many times people have messaged me and said, hey, you'll like this.
It doesn't happen often to me.
It happens to me like with alarming regularity. But to be fair, people are out there making content specifically for me, right?
Just elaborate on that.
Star Wars Squadrons is the game I've been dreaming of since I was like literally 4 or 5 years old. And they just released that on my birthday, which was a day earlier than they were meant to release it, and they just did that.
That's
They
fantastic.
did that for me.
Very cool.
Cyberpunk was supposed to release on my birthday, and then they delayed it three times.
Yeah, it's because unlike me, you're not universally blessed by like content creation.
Yeah. I'm like picking up the scraps that all the people that make content for you.
You know,
that you're
unlike
dropping.
me, your experiences aren't universal. Mine are though.
I forgot that Cam's experiences are universal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna punch you, and everyone's gonna feel it.
Nah.
I remember you describing Gideon in that way of
Yes.
that's a
Gideon
book
was,
just
it was written for Can.
Also, I was thinking of you reading it and then reading the line, we do bones, motherfucker, because I remember you telling me about that line
do
when I was
bones.
deciding, what do we do? Show 'em what the Ninth House does. We do bones, motherfucker.
Yeah, man.
It's just phenomenal.
Content for Can.
Have we... Okay, wait, have I...
Okay, it goes worse than you'd even think with Gideon, because I'm like, every part of Gideon is like, oh, that's written for Can. You got your fucking spooky God Emperor, you got aviators, which I always think is neat, you got swords, you got skeletons. Granted, these are all pretty standard interests, but they have aligned perfectly to create like a book that I very much enjoyed, in a style I really liked, and that shit just happens to me. I'm pretty happy about it.
Very lucky.
Yeah, I am.
We brought up Gideon again, so that's 3 out of 3 for podcasts. God, turns out when I'm on the same podcast every time and I've listened to like...
It turns out that you have hobbies and interests.
I have hobbies and interests, but again, like 4.
All right, okay, let's go with a Gideon-based pivot here. I'm going to recommend a book series for anyone who's wanting to get into like the 40k setting without like diving into the craziest shit.
Uh-huh.
The Ravener series is about Inquisitor Gideon Ravener. He's a...
That's a sick segue.
Yeah,
that is
right?
a
Good
sick
transition.
Gideon Ravener is an Inquisitor, so he deals with like fucked up spooky shit that's like in the background of the setting. So he's just a guy, right? He's got a team of dudes. There's no like fucked up space marines. The scale's a little more down to earth. He's got phenomenal psychic powers, but he was in a horrific, not really an accident, it was an attack. He is in a
horrific
wheelchair,
purpose.
effectively. He's in a
Purposeful.
forced chair. For the whole series, that's his section. It's a really good intro to the setting in a way. It's got there's another series, Eisenhorn, about his mentor that was released first. That's also really good as an intro to the setting. But yeah, if you're looking to get to 40k and you want a place to start, I reckon Eisenhorn and Ravener because they're a little more grounded in things you can understand as like a person coming into it. There's not as much like, oh god, you got to know 14 different aliens by like name and like height. It's like, oh no, that's a guy. He's got a gun for a hand. He's a little bit traumatized about it. And because the main character is like a phenomenally psychically powerful dude, but he can't, he's got his physical form is annihilated. It spends a lot of times he spends a lot of time in other characters like possessing them as a thing that he does so that they like he's like, all right, you're in a dangerous combat situation. I'm going to take over your body. You don't feel pain anymore. And he's sort of like that's the only way he experiences anything.
That's really cool.
But he also
That is
he runs
cool.
around in their dreams a lot because that's somewhere he can go. And there's just like little things that you see about a character, like the guy that's got like the cannon hand. His dream
Gun
is
hand.
him on a beach, but the water is just hands, and he just walks around the beach, picking them up, trying them on, and being like, "Nope, that's not it."
Isn't that all our dreams though? Except mine's are guns, and I pick them up and try them on.
Oh,
my
I mean,
hand.
having a gun hand is like truly the dream.
Yeah.
But
Is
yeah,
it?
once you've got it, the dream
It's
is
that
to
and being able to push all buttons to enter demon gun mode.
I don't know. I watched Guns Akimbo last night, and I feel like I've been.
That's not a gun hand. That's a gun nailed to your hand. That's
no,
pretty
but I
shit.
feel like I've like now been. I'm like, you know, I've been immediately reminded of like, you know, having a gun for a hand means things like opening your phone, unlocking your
No,
phone with
wrong.
your nose.
Edward Scissorhands was having a great time, and I will not hear any alternatives.
That movie, I didn't like that movie.
What, Edward Scissorhands?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it since
Also,
I was like.
It's not a
10.
movie that feels good to watch.
No,
It's,
it's not.
No.
It's a
I have
sad
long
movie.
maintained that like Shrek 2 for the most part is not a movie that feels good to watch.
No, that's fair.
Because almost the entire plot is just people hating Shrek for no real good reason.
Plus a miscommunication plot in the main
Oh,
line.
Yeah.
Shrek 2 it's fine. People really like Shrek 2, but like it's no Shrek 1.
Yeah. And I don't know, I don't think it's... I don't know, I'm a bit of a weenie in the content I watch because I oftentimes...
You're allowed to have like standards with content.
Well, yeah, but it's also like I have a pretty, like... I've kind of long maintained that like real life makes me miserable enough, so I don't love content to make me feel miserable.
I feel that.
Yeah. I feel that as well. Sad things suck.
Which has been my biggest barrier in, like, a lot of people around me really, really, really love Neon Genesis Evangelion. But it just... I've watched it. I enjoyed it. I will never watch it again.
No, that's fair.
The other two, a lot of people love it. The other two people in this room, including, I assume.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
talk about
I-
Neon Genesis Evangelion. Such a happy show, not a happy show.
It's not. It's neat. Merlin finished it recently and has really taken like Merlin. It turns out has really clicked with the vibes of the end of Evangelion section. It preferred it
Like the
without End of
movie?
Evangelion. Yeah,
Or
like, Merlin
the-
actually
the-
really liked Death and Rebirth.
Is that the two
That's the
last
two
episodes?
Yeah, the two last episodes.
For the people who haven't watched Neon Genesis Evangelion, it's an anime series, and then they went. They ran out of
budget.
money.
Well, it turns out they ran out of time more than budget.
Yeah, they ran out of. Basically, they didn't do the last two episodes as well as they wanted to, so they made a movie which is just a replacement last two episodes.
Yeah, it sort of fits. The last episodes are within the movie.
Yeah,
But
because
yeah,
they're
it's-
in like his mind or something.
Yeah, there's a whole dreamscape situation going on.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry to bring up Neon Genesis Evangelion just as you said you didn't like it.
Oh, no, that's okay. I think it's interesting. It's just I've watched it. I have no need to watch it again.
I think it's bold to be like, all right, okay, fuckers, it's the movie we made after the series has ended and like the creator got a lot of death threats. We're just going to state the moral outright. We're going to just directly look into the camera and be like, you got to talk to other people, man.
But sometimes you're a dumbass and you don't get the moral.
You
like
gotta,
me.
You gotta be able to communicate with other human beings. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Is the moral of Neon Genesis Evangelion to have friends?
The moral is that it hurts to interact with people, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, the hedgehog dilemma?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like that's the.
Is
it's
that mentioned in...
Well, so in End of Evangelion, like they all turn into the same person in the goo, right? We're all one in the soup.
Okay, spoiler warning.
Spoiler alert, it's Evangelion, man. It's older than like half of the audience, maybe more.
But it all
older than me.
returns to soup.
Well, everyone's together in the soup, and it's like this isn't being a person, right? It's terrifying and awful as well because there's no limits between anyone, and so like
Everything is the same.
it's the unsaid parts of what that would make it harder to get along are also in there, right?
Yeah.
But it's saying that like you can't avoid interacting with people.
Yeah.
Interacting with people is messy and it's terrifying and it's sad and it hurts. But that's how you find people. That's how you are a person.
Yeah.
You can't define yourself without other people. And it's neat. I like it.
I feel hard making a funny bit about this.
No, go nuts.
because-
Evangelion is
no,
a fun anime
can't
about
think
robots
of any,
and
but
cum.
also I don't want to because it's very touching. What I will say is thank you for spelling out the subtext to me because I'm a dumbass who doesn't get...
John, this was literally directly stated into the camera
Yeah.
at End of Evangelion.
I can't remember.
In the bit where they've got like the live action section.
There's a
Just
live
forgotten
action
the end of Evangelion, bud.
I don't get like whatever the thing before subtext is, let alone subtext. I watched Blade Runner 2049 and in the cinemas, and I went home and searched up what the plot was.
I love you, dude.
I have no fucking clue what happened in that movie. The guy, it ends, and I'm like, what happened?
Also,
Is
what's
that the new one?
2049?
It's
What?
the second Blade Runner movie.
Oh, is that the one where it's Ryan Gosling because
Yeah.
Harrison Ford's an old man?
yeah, exactly.
I think I've seen the second half of that movie.
I've watched
And I
Blade
think I
Runner
was
about 12
plastered.
times, and I couldn't tell you what happens.
I've
in
watched
it.
Blade Runner once, and I couldn't tell you what happened because I was being distracted.
I think it's because I watched it in school, and so I've essentially, like a lot of things that people watch in school, I've lost almost all interest in it. Because if there's one thing that will really just make people not engage with the media, it's forcing them to analyze it at school.
For sure.
Oh,
but I
I
gotta
actually-
say, I love the bit where the blades sprint.
I know you're joking, but I can't.
What?
I can't jump off that in any way because I don't know I don't remember anything about Blade Runner.
I feel like I engaged way more with the media because I was forced to. Maybe I just had good English teachers, which is
I had a
Not
good I mean, to be fair, I had a good English teacher basically every year except for the one in which I watched Blade Runner. And I wonder if those are related.
good to watch Blade Runner. The thing, there's
It
so
is-
many good. There's like good things in English class.
It
I got
just
to watch
feels
Gattaca.
Like there wasn't really a need for a prequel to Homestar Runner.
Keep him coming, Cam.
I'm just going to keep doing bits. You guys have a conversation. I'll
I really
interject
enjoyed
with
some of the
jokes.
things I watched in English. I watched Gattaca.
Gattaca's
That's pretty
interesting.
cool.
I never finished Gattaca.
We should watch it
Gattaca
sometime.
is another
Wait.
movie that's about making me miserable, but in some
Yeah,
ways...
Gattaca's sad, but
Wait, no.
also very happy.
Which one's Gattaca? Is Gattaca the eugenics one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh no, I have seen that. I was.
Can
thinking
I
of,
spoil Gattaca?
I'm sure you could spoil
Okay, I'm
Gattaca.
spoiling the end of Gattaca. It's so also explaining the plot of Gattaca, which is the entire movie is about eugenics, right? So that you're able to
Most
change
people
people's
are
genetic
like
code.
perfectly genetically like coded super people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the main character is not. So he finds a really hard time getting any jobs, and he really wants to go to space. So he works as like a janitor in the space place, and his entire thing is about sneaking into, trying to get into like a rocket so he can go to space.
Yeah,
and
he basically fakes his way into being an astronaut
Yeah,
by
he-
like using his friend Jude Law's like blood and hair.
yeah, he teams up with like a person who has perfect genes but got like hit by a car. And
Due
he's,
to
like,
his
in a wheelchair.
alcoholism and like
Yeah.
issues, because it turns out that even perfect genetics don't make your life perfect.
I didn't remember that bit. I just remember the very end of the movie. He's about to get on the rocket ship, and like they do his genetic test, and he fails. He fails his genetic test. It's all over. He's done.
I have
He's
no
been
memory
found
of
out
that.
at the final stretch, and the guy who's doing, he like looks at the guy who's doing the genetic test. The guy looks at him. He's like, "You can go on," and it's like everything fails, but the small act of human kindness allows him to go on the ship.
Yeah, to me that really falls flat because as a man who would love to go to space but has like a heart condition and diabetes and you know all the other shit going on, you don't get in a rocket if you are going to die. Like you're going to, he's endangering everyone.
Perfectly valid response,
Like,
which is the
it-
guy had a heart condition. He wasn't allowed to be on that ship for a
Like,
reason.
I'm too fucking tall to be an astronaut. Oh, yeah.
I'll cut it out.
I'm too tall to be an astronaut. And like that's how it is. I can't do that. There are limits to certain jobs, especially when it comes to fucking space. And it's like so this dude's sort of like doing lies and like yeah, he's clearly competent enough to be there, but he may just die at any moment in a way that is endangering himself and everyone else. Space is a hellish place to go.
It does undermine the plot, like the.
Yeah.
It's like
a
I'm
lot.
gonna fake not having narcolepsy until they let me be a brain surgeon.
Yeah.
It's like if you've got like severe I don't know, man, if you've got severe enough narcolepsy that you'll fall asleep at random during brain surgery, don't be a brain surgeon.
Yeah, I'm going to fake...
I'm sorry anyone with narcolepsy. I hope that's not like a fucking rude
sir,
bit for me
sir,
to make.
trust me. I can be a brain surgeon. It's not narcolepsy. There's just this
I'm
girl.
just
She's name is
sleepy.
Vriska Circuit. It's a long story. So aliens, right?
John...
Yeah, all right.
We need a Homestuck reference counter.
Yeah. So I guess I think that I've heard other people say, hey, I hate this thing because I had to do it at school. But then I realized that I like most of the things that I learned, that I did in English at school. But I just didn't like Blade Runner because I don't think watching something for the first time with the intent of analyzing it is a good way to do it.
Oh yeah, no. If you watch it the first time to analyze it, that'll hurt.
Oh, just care less about English class. That was my.
It was... I didn't...
I literally could not.
Yeah, I needed to care about English class because I knew it was gonna.
Oh, that's
I
the
was
opposite
doing-
of I could not.
I was doing 5 classes and I knew I was probably going to fail one of them.
Shout out to almost every English teacher I had. Certainly the last couple that I had were like wonderful and really good for me. I was a god-awful English student because I would not take it seriously and could not write a long essay. My writing was usually good enough that I would pass, but that was because it was like not enough words. But yeah, English class did not work for me very well.
I have a very similar experience. My last 2 English teachers were also fantastic, and I loved them and I helped them a lot. And I tried very hard at English, but was also just terrible at it. And I think I asked for feedback a lot, and then I think I was just very bad at integrating that feedback, such that I just made the same mistakes over and over again. Asked for some feedback, I'm like, I've asked for it now. I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk more about things I learned in English class, because I'm remembering other media I loved in English class. We watched The Wire in my English class.
Oh, we watched The Wire in my English class as well. We went to the same high school. We may
did
have
go
had
to the same
same
high school.
I don't
No,
want to
not
say
the
the
one-
name
Yeah,
because
let's
we'll
not
have
say
to
the
bleep
name
it
of
out or
teachers.
something.
We can talk about it later.
But you are a year younger than me, so I believe that in year 11 or 12 you would have had potentially the same English teacher I had.
Yeah. We have definitely talked about English teachers before.
Yeah.
That was a fun class because we looked at the war on drugs. And also I memorized the chicken nugget scene from The Wire.
I do love the chicken nugget scene.
Yo, want some nuggets, D? Nah.
I haven't seen all of The Wire.
You want some?
Geordie was watching
It
it,
was
at
like
home
in
recently,
episode
and I saw
3.
bits of it.
I was trying to watch more of it, then I stopped.
Oh no, I entered like halfway through season
I
1.
can't watch things that are like 40-minute episodes.
It's
can't.
interesting that I made the statement before that I don't like things that are designed to make me miserable, because I'm thinking about things now that I like that do kind of make me miserable. But it's... I don't know.
The final
It depends
thing,
on why,
the
I
final
guess.
English... Oh, actually, sidetrack to English things that make us miserable. One of the books we studied in English was Tim Winton's The Turning, which is a collection of Australian short stories, and we only needed to study a few of them, like 3. I was like, I'm just going to read the whole book. And I got like 2 extra stories in, so I'd read like the ones we needed for class and like an extra 2, and I'm like, I'm not reading these are so goddamn depressing.
Tim Winton be like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, was going to say unpopular opinion, but no, I think it's a pretty popular opinion at this point. I don't think Tim Winton's a very good writer.
I don't know if he's good or not. I couldn't stand him in high school.
I think he was good in that he made me cry.
I mean, I don't think I was ready, right? Emotionally in high school, I was not able to like process things. I was not a whole guy, right?
How much
That's
of a
fair.
guy were you?
Like 10%.
None.
Non-guy.
I was not
Left
what I
beef.
would consider to be like a whole human person at that point.
Sorry.
Yes. No, good bit.
Non-guy with left beef.
No, for real. That basically
Got
sums it up.
it.
Like I was not self-actualized at all, and like I'm barely self-actualized now, but I'm better than I was. Like shit, like I read Lord of the Rings back then, right?
Self-actualized.
I tried it, and I was like, this is bad and dumb and not good. And I read Lord of the Rings like this year, and it was
Didn't
really
you
good.
read all of Lord of the Rings in like one day?
It was I got the whole thing done in like a week, I think.
What the fuck?
I did read the second book really quickly because Geordie had been down south for like a month, and he was coming back.
Geordie,
and I was
friend of
like-
the show, and also friend of Cam.
Yeah, my housemate Geordie, love that guy.
He let me borrow Dirk Shades recently.
Yeah, he did.
Homestuck reference theory.
So I'm waiting for Geordie to get back, and I'm like, I have to get to Return of the King in time for Geordie to get back.
No, that's really
I have
good.
to get the Return of the King for Return of the King, and I did it, right? I fucking sprinted through the end of the Two Towers. And like Geordie gets home, and I'm like, Geordie, look where I got. And I show him the page, and he's like, neat. And like half an hour later, he's like, oh, I get it.
That's
And I'm like,
good.
no, that's fair. I probably should have explained. 'Cause
Oh
he'd
yeah,
been, like,
I wouldn't have gotten the bit.
He'd
Yeah,
been
me
gone
neither.
for a very long time.
My relationship with the Lord of the Rings has been the same.
I didn't know you were dating Sauron.
Let me explain. For about the past maybe
don't
5
deny
to
it.
10 years,
You've been dating Sauron.
I haven't, for why I'm about to explain. For about the past 5 to 10 years, I've just said
Let me
every
have
now and
this.
then when it comes up, I've never interacted with Lord of the Rings. Haven't seen it, haven't read it. And then that conversation usually leads into someone saying, oh, I'll watch those movies with you. And then it never happens.
Yeah.
I'll watch those movies with you.
Fuck you. Fuck off. To the point that now I've also had that conversation with my partner where he was like, oh, let's watch those movies sometime. And I'm like, yeah, sure.
I'll believe it when I see it.
They're pretty fun, but like,
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they are. They look okay.
yeah. But you're in too deep now, right?
And
Yeah.
you're trying to keep up above.
Yeah.
Instead of going under.
because I'm in too deep and I'm trying.
No, we're gonna get sued. We're gonna get sued by some
Look, that's fine. We're not
41.
making any fucking money.
I'm already
Copyright
using.
suck my knobs.
I'm already using.
Once we start making money, when that
Suck its
inevitably
candy
happens,
wrapper.
that was a joke.
Don't call it a callback.
Nice.
The book I want to talk about the most from English, which I keep not getting to, is the Laramie Project.
Right, yeah, okay.
The
we
Laramie
did say-
Project is
Okay,
really
hold on.
fucking
Laramie
good.
does sound like the fake name of some kind of YouTuber.
Laramie. It sounds like Australian.
It does sound Australian, but it's in Wyoming, which very quickly I'm going to say is my favourite state because it's a square.
No, Laramie to
Why?
me sounds like two like dream SNP dudes that get shipped.
Oh, okay.
It sounds like the ship name of like two YouTubers that I don't like.
Lawrence and Smam.
Yeah,
You're right. Yep, those are names.
like that's what Laramie sounds like. It's like
Yeah. Wait, so John, what was the Y? Was that Y is Wyoming a square?
Why Wyoming? Why are they oming over there?
Got some stuff to
They
think
should
about.
call it Y squaring.
They are. Oh well. To be fair, there's no question as to why squaring. I believe the answer is gerrymandering.
large scale Massachusetts.
Massachusetts.
Nice.
Nice.
That's a Homestuck bit. Add it to the counter.
Fuck. Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last week we had the blasphemy counter. Now this week we've got the Homestuck counter, which is based-
That scared the fuck out of me. I just wasn't watching Cam, so I didn't expect it. I was watching John.
Well, I also skipped 3 for the bit.
So the what? No, we were at
Well,
4.
we did go through.
Yeah, no, I didn't say
The
3.
Laramie
No.
Project
I
is
didn't do the
it's a stage play. It's a play about a
Huge
gay
play.
guy who got murdered in just outside Laramie,
Oh
Wyoming.
Jesus!
And it's an actual event that happened, by the way.
Yeah. All right.
And they went and talked to like all the people in the town and interviewed them all.
Yeah.
Fuck me, I've been making jokes, huh?
And interviewed
Boy.
them all.
Oh, don't worry.
interviewed
Don't worry.
them all.
You think you're
Did
making
they-
jokes? Can you imagine how well this
I think
sensitive project this was
Oh, no,
treated
teens?
by
Yeah, no, but-
by the 16-year-old boys in my class?
Sure,
Oh
but they're
my
not currently on a
fucking
podcast making jokes before that reveal.
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
sorry, everyone.
I knew when I still made jokes, which is probably
as
the
I
bad
said,
thing.
being a
it's-
teen was like, I'm not self-actualized, and I'm a
Oh
real
no,
piece
I
of
mean
shit.
right now. I knew what the Laramie Project was about, and I still laughed about how Wyoming is a square.
That's fair. Yeah,
I
I
don't-
don't feel as bad now.
I don't feel like those were related to the actual content. I believe they went and interviewed
Yeah.
loads of people in the town, and then they just used the transcripts of the interviews as the
Yes.
script. Like
Yes.
they didn't write anything. It's all
Yeah.
it's
Stuff
all,
people said.
It's
yeah.
all stuff people said.
Yeah.
Which creates an interesting English like
Oh, yeah, no,
assessment
the-
or
the
an essay
dialect and
because
such should
it's,
be-
you
and
can't
also the-
focus on how they've written it. You can only focus on like how they've put it, how
Yeah.
they've ordered it, and
You
whatnot.
you could argue that like there's a degree of the way the questions are phrased and the ordering and things.
It
Like
was
you
really
can
good, though.
really push an interview in a direction.
That was
But
also,
yeah, I know what you mean.
The Laramie Project 2, which was in the same book. So you finish the first one in the same book. It's like an omnibus, but only 2 books.
Same
it-
plot. I hope it's not the same plot.
No, it's not the same plot. It's like
Thank
a 10-year
God.
follow-up, and it's even
Yeah.
better.
Okay.
It's honestly, I honestly found it more entertaining. I
It's very
don't like
interesting.
calling this entertaining.
Yeah, no,
but
what you
like,
mean. It was an interesting and
It
like
was- yeah.
worthwhile read.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, look, you can like again of a thing I did in an English class that made me miserable, but I did do it anyway, and I chose to do it, which is worse. In one of my English, sometime I think it was like one year we had like modules or something like that, where it's like you choose
Oh, yeah.
you choose what you want to talk about, and that's how you get assigned your teacher for the semester. You choose what
I
you want
did
to do.
that too.
Yeah,
That sounds dope.
that was actually very cool.
It was.
Shout out, cool moment to Perth Mod.
You're doxing us.
You're right. Good, I deserve it.
We deserve it.
Anyway, I don't know, fuck, cut that out if you want to.
No, I won't.
That's fine.
We deserve it.
Yeah.
Cam lives in anonymity.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Nailed
man, you don't even have to redact that. You can just great job.
Way to go, champ.
With friends like these, who needs a anonymity?
I think I just blew the mic out. You're going to have to fix that.
Ah, it's fine.
The anonymity. I'm just finding Nemo, where he comes out of the anemone, but he's wearing an anonymous mask.
Oh.
the underwater hacker group, the Anonynemone.
I did a really good flub earlier. I had, and the reason I'm going to bring it up quickly is because I said to the person, I'm going to be in a recorded thing later. I'm really glad I didn't say this later, so now I'm going to call this. I was trying to say pelican.
Yep.
And I flubbed it about 8 times in different ways.
Pelican.
I said penguin first, which is just a different bird. And then I said pelican.
Not bad, not bad. All birds are
You really
the same.
pelicaned. You really just pelicaned.
Oh,
I
nice.
really cannot.
Nice.
You really pelicaned.
Fuck.
You pelican not.
I guess
You pella fucked it up.
I guess it's the end of my podcast career. It's been fun. I guess I have to retire
You are
into shame
fired.
now.
yeah. Your one free podcast card that you're given at birth is being taken away.
I don't know how to tell you this, but this is not the first podcast I've been on.
Assigned podcast at birth.
This is the first.
APAB?
It's not the first podcast I've been on, but it's the first one I'd ever consider being on twice.
I'm so sorry.
Wait, but the thing
No, this
that
is my
I'm-
second time on this podcast. It's pretty good. John,
Yeah.
how's the third time on the podcast? We've got all 3 generations of podcast here.
We've got all 3.
I'm
You've
a
been on 3
grandbaby.
times. I've been on twice. Chase has been on once.
As the elder, I think we're doing a good job.
All right, neat. Good
Cool.
to hear.
We could be doing better.
I
I,
don't know
um,
if that's the case. I could be doing a lot worse.
Should I go back and actually finish
What
what
were
I
we
was talking?
talking
We were
about?
talking about things in English. I was going to say that
Which
Yeah, but what were the things you were talking about?
I think I was
I know
about
the
to-
language we're using.
Well, I was
I
about to
can't
talk
talk.
about something else in high school that made me. That
Oh
made
yeah,
me
the
miserable.
modules. The modules.
Well, what language
Yeah.
are you going to talk about? It
What
in?
module did you do?
English.
All right, cool.
I did the one that was about like illness and disease and stuff like that.
I did
Fun.
one about. I believe I did one about Africa
Oh,
and like
that sounds
African
interesting.
colonialism and stuff,
Oh,
which is pretty interesting. We watched Hotel Rwanda. Sorry, I'm going to talk about this once you're done.
That's
yeah,
a brutal movie to do.
that is a brutal movie. Basically, we
Fucking
did
fantastic
like
movie.
we mainly focused on like it was supposed to be just illness and disease. We mainly ended up focusing on like probably mental illness, stuff like that, because
Ooh.
I guess it's a thing people love to write about. And then God bless the teacher that was running it, sprinkled in some feminism because we focused a lot on the yellow wallpaper, which is about a woman who's forcibly being on a rest cure for like anxiety, which is basically when your dad / brother / man who controls your life because it's the 1800s and you're a woman.
Oh, was
you
she
are
given
just-
tranquilizer?
No, it's just you're expected to be in bed and do nothing for like 6 months.
You're being
Oh.
hysterical, and any attempt to defend yourself will be taken as hysterical.
Yeah, so she goes basically insane because she's like she's hallucinating stuff she's seeing in the wallpaper
Oh,
because it's her
Jesus
only
fucking
like
Christ.
yeah, it's
source
grim.
of stimulation. But I found that super interesting, even
Oh,
though
yeah,
it was
for
grim
sure.
as hell. But then there was a bit where we were supposed to read like a book, and then that would be something we'd write an essay on. But I like put my hand up like a fucking moron and said I've actually already read all these books because part of the exercise was that you're supposed to read something for the first time.
Nerd.
Yeah. So I admitted that I'd already
come on the Nerd Podcast.
I admitted that I'd already read them all, and she said she sort of like gave me like 10 other books.
These 10 is for Chase.
Is for Chase. She gave me like 10 other options, and I was like, I don't know what We Need to Talk About Kevin is about, but that sounds like an interesting title.
Oh boy.
So I read that.
What is that about?
It's about.
Do we need to talk about Kevin?
Yeah, we should, because the whole point is it's.
Do we need to talk about Kevin?
I think we want to at this point.
Yeah.
I think okay, we want to talk about
I
we
know-
need to talk about Kevin.
I know what this is about. I don't know if we want to. We can.
I'll very, very briefly.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll very briefly. It's told from like the
Brief
point of
chat
view
about Kevin.
of a woman whose son like committed a very big crime.
Oh,
At least one like murder.
Several
Oh,
murders.
I think
Yeah.
I've heard about this one.
And like the whole, I guess the idea and the reason it's cool we need to talk about Kevin is because they are like, the story is letters between this woman and her like estranged husband. Is basically being like, hey, it was pretty obvious to us as his parents that there was something, that Kevin wasn't just a normal kid. We should have done something about it. Is sort of one of the, there's a lot going on in the book, but one of the things that stuck out with me is like, hey, there were warning signs and no one did anything. And it's just like, Man, that did make me very miserable, but it also, like, changed the way I saw a lot of things, and I don't know. When English I don't remember what my point here. I think it was that English teachers, like, man, they can really, like, enhance or just massively fuck up how you interact with, like, the world of fiction.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I went to an all-boys school, so any attempt to, like, instill even the, like, slightest modicum of feminism in us would have met with immediate and hardcore resistance. Still does to this day. It's no good. It's improved, but it's fucking horrible.
I'm really glad I didn't go to an all-girls school.
You can be glad you didn't go to an all-boys school as well.
Yeah, it sounds bad,
Yeah,
too.
no, you should be glad
I feel
about
like
that.
all
Apparently
gender
it's
schools
better than
I
now,
feel like school
from what I
sucks.
hear. I had a fucking bad time in high school, and I don't think it would have mattered where I was.
That's fair. I don't remember why I started talking about when you talk about Kevin, and honestly, at this point,
I think it's because we needed to talk about it.
I vaguely regret bringing
Had
it
to
up
be done.
because I feel like I've created dead air.
Oh, we're a real downer of a podcast this week.
It's the
fellas.
down.
Nah,
it's the
all good.
podcast where we're filled with sad emotions and
We're
dick
making
sliders.
enough. Yeah, we've made enough jokes about scrotes early on. We're allowed to talk about sad shit now.
Oh, you've said downer, and now I want to talk about We Happy Few.
All right, I'm calling it. We're going to talk about King's Fall,
What's King's Fall?
the
Cam,
new old Destiny raid.
Cam, I haven't played it yet.
It's good. I'm looking forward to playing it with you.
I had no internet. I couldn't play
I
it.
know,
That's
I'm
why I was
sorry,
playing
bud.
Black Mesa.
So,
Also, it's not even. Yeah, it's a new old raid.
yeah, it's a new old raid.
Wait, no, this.
Destiny 2 has added a 6-player
Wait.
adventure from Destiny 1 into Destiny 2. and
Oh,
it's
that's
neat.
cool.
Keep
Yeah.
talking. I'm
They've
finding
updated
something.
it for Destiny 2, so there's new mechanics and things, and it's balanced properly, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Can I just very quickly I've realized that I have a platform now, and I must say something that's been important to me that is relevant to the club.
Having a platform does make you taller.
It's that We Happy Few is actually a very good game.
Fair enough.
I was surprised at this because I was a person who watched YouTubers around when it came out and they played it and they said it was terrible.
Yeah, it.
Wouldn't make good YouTube content.
I think arguably now it could, but the problem with it was that it, like a lot of games and like Cyberpunk, was. I don't know if Cyberpunk wasn't kickstarted or anything, was it?
Oh,
no,
no.
Cyberpunk had a AAA budget the whole time.
Yeah, but in a similar vein, We Have a Few was partially Kickstarter funded and then partially, I believe, made by, or like
Risky.
funded by the like Canadian Independent Media Fund or whatever it is.
I think
Yeah.
I said the Canadian government.
I think that's
The
an
Canadian
aspect
government
of
puts
the
aside some money for like independent media.
the creation of independent
The
media.
Canadian government put aside some money for the happy people.
Yeah. Something like that. Anyway, but because it was Kickstarter and it had like deadlines and stuff, they put the game out too early.
Yeah, that's not quite what happened with Cyberpunk. With Cyberpunk, it was they had a lot of budget, but they overpromised,
Yeah.
and then the devs were being like really pushed at the end of it, and no one was happy. And then when they couldn't deliver on all the promises they'd made, no one was happy about that either.
I'm not really sure if like there was any like nastiness behind the scenes with like the devs or anything. I just think that the game was put out as like an open world, but it didn't really it maintained that. But now like it's a story. You're following. You're doing quests and shit, and you're crafting stuff, but you're in a story, and it's just got very fun mechanics.
Isn't it like We Happy Few is like everyone has to be happy, take happy drugs?
Yeah, it's alternative post World War II, where like basically Germany was going to win, and like the people of a place it's pseudo England. It's I guess part of England, but it's a place called Wellington Wells.
That's very English.
Yeah, did what they call the very bad
well.
thing
Oh,
to try and placate Germany.
oh dear.
This doesn't even really feel like a spoiler, but it's not. They didn't like do a genocide or anything. It's not.
They did something bad.
They did something bad, and basically they did something bad to a point that it made everybody so basically chronically miserable that the government invented and then started distributing basically a drug that made people happy but also made them forget.
Yeah, I understand this plot. I won't say it's groundbreaking.
It's not
'cause
groundbreaking.
It's a plot I've seen.
It's
yeah.
like a little bit 1984. It's like a little bit Brave New World. It's
Yeah, I've seen it before.
like, and there are a
It's-
lot of
it's a pretty
elements
classic.
of Big Brother is watching you and like honest, but I think it's fun that it's
You think it's fun?
Yeah, I think it's fun. I think it's
think-
neat. And I think it sucks that because the world of, especially of gaming, moves so fucking quickly.
Oh, yeah.
That, you know, a lot of people were like, oh, I heard about that game when it came out and it sucked. And people said it sucked. But it's like, that's the first and only opinion a lot of people have in it. And I just kind of think that's a shame about the world of content in the first place, is that there's not really an opportunity to give things another shot because the market is so saturated all the time.
I think that there is a tendency for games to kind of get released, be bad, and then get better. The No
Yeah.
Man's Sky effect.
Yeah.
We release a terrible game, and then actually 5 years later, guys, it's really good. Or like it comes out, no one likes it, and then over time it kind of gets better. It happens with No Man's Sky. It happened with Rainbow Six Siege, which like when it came out, it was like no one really played it, and now it's one of the most popular like first-person shooters.
No Man's Sky was a weird case because it was that they promised it was one thing and it wasn't that, and so people were upset. And some people were like, "Well, this is its own thing that I quite like," and then they were like, "No, we've released an update to make it what we said it would be." And so,
I don't think it's ever going to be what they said it would be, but it's pretty good now.
yeah, I've heard it's very. I played a little bit of it.
I think I was getting No Man's Sky mixed up with Kerbal Space Program. And I was like, wait, how did they fuck it up in the beginning?
No Man's Sky is like a galaxy-sized sim where you can just fly around and like,
It's
visit new planets.
universe-sized.
If you're playing No Man's Sky, you will not find another player unless you're incredibly lucky or you are like actively
Looking
like
for one.
working together.
Didn't that
with
not
them.
even work at the start?
I
Like
don't
you
know.
couldn't even, the multiplayer didn't even work.
Well, like because it is just one map, right? It is one online map.
It wasn't
But
that
it's
like a lie
big.
though. That was one of the lies
look,
they
it might
had,
have been, I don't
which it was.
fucking know.
It was not on one big map.
That's really funny. I think that's very
Look,
funny.
if you can say anything about No Man's Sky, it's probably a lie, or at least not true. Same with Cyberpunk.
yeah, it's
keep
true.
them
No Man's
back.
Sky could be like an offline game without them telling, and that'd be really funny.
That would be extraordinarily funny.
I feel like that's the plot of a game. Isn't that? Oh, that's the plot of fucking Journey. Do you know that game?
I've
I know
heard of it.
Journey.
Do you know the gimmick of Journey?
Oh, so
It's that they released Don't Stop Believing.
Okay, so you've just it's just now for me clicked what Journey is then, because Journey is a game where like you get a bud that you think is another player, right?
No, Journey's a game where you think is an offline game. It's an online game. You get an so
the NPC
Journey.
is a
You're
real
playing
person.
the game, and then another guy joins you, and it's another. And you think it's like just an NPC, but it's actually another guy. And
Oh, that's neat.
You can only communicate through like sounds. You can't. There's no text chat, no voice chat.
Yeah.
So you just have to play the game with a random other guy with like very little way to communicate, which is one majestic and two bad if one person wants to. I want to get to the end, and the other person's like, I want to explore.
Yeah, or if you're both very stupid.
Yeah. The journey's not. You're gonna have a bad journey.
I
You're gonna
realized
have
that
a
I was
really shitty
confused.
flight.
Oh, sorry. I realized I was confused yet again about what No Man's Sky is. And the second thing I was thinking of was Astroneer.
Oh,
I don't know what that is.
Astroneer.
Astroneer.
So imagine astronaut. Imagine engineer. Imagine you combine the two.
I'm thinking space engineers.
No, that's space engineers. You're thinking
Oh,
you
son
need
of a bitch.
astroneers.
Rookie mistake.
Man, what the fuck are we doing? We haven't talked about anything.
That's the point, man. When do we?
True.
I want to talk about space engineers for a bit if you want.
Sure, I've barely played space engineers. But
I've
heard
never
about
played
it
space
forever.
engineers.
I didn't realize that was actually a game. I thought you guys were joking.
Look, okay, say some words. It's probably a game. I bet, and
I was about to say Hot Dog Simulator, and then I was like, I think that is...
I'm searching this up right
I went
now.
down a short YouTube spiral for like a dude who's got like a PvP RP server in Space Engineers,
Oh, that's sick.
where there's like you set up
Spengineers.
rules and there's like a turn-based overmap for like moving fleets around, and then they have like PvP that happens using actual PvP.
John, have you figured out, is Hot Dog Simulator a real game?
There's two things that come when you search up a hot dog simulator. There's a third thing, which is hot dog bush.
Well done.
Is it Bush or Bush?
There's actually a fourth one, fourth hot dog
President of the
simulator.
United
Sorry.
States, George W. Bush.
Sorry, I just burped directly into
No,
the
it's
mic.
hot dog Bush. The president of George W. Bush has ended, but what is his next career choice? Well, for now, he's going to sell hot dogs to all the hungry people in New York. See, the customers may don't overcook the hot dog. Yeah,
Well,
service.
what a market to enter
At-
to, being a hot dogger in New York.
At any given time, my brain is simulating a hot dog for me.
At any given time, my brain is
Demon.
rotating a cow because the government can't stop you.
They're working on it though.
They are working on it,
Any
but-
day now.
which is why I'm going to do it as much as possible until I no longer can.
They made
Sure.
birds. You think they can? You think they can't stop the cow rotating?
No,
Yeah,
he's
look how the
gonna
birds
rotate.
went.
Yeah.
You know, you can go one step further. You can rotate cows in real life. People have been doing it for generations.
That's fucked up, though.
It's cow tipping. That's what cow tipping is.
It's not really a rotation, though.
Well, so I
it
thought
is.
cow
I
tipping wasn't
guess.
real.
Huh?
Someone told me that cow tipping is not real because
It's in
cows
co-
don't
it's-
sleep standing up.
You don't have to, but if you don't, the cows
I
are
heard,
not. Gonna...
my brain was so ready to interpret that. It's just cows don't sleep.
No, like you don't
They
have
wait.
to, but
Cows sit there with their arms crossed.
it's fucked up not
waiting.
to though, because cow minimum wage takes tipping into account.
Ah, that is fucked up.
Cam never stopped making good bits.
I'm gonna try my best. If
Yeah.
I ever do stop making good bits, I will wither into some kind of sultana.
Look, we should probably end the podcast soon, but I really think we should milk this cow bit a bit more.
Nice.
Cow humor. No, I don't think we should end the podcast. I think that because Cam and I both retook meds,
Yeah, we'll just
so
do
we
it live
try
forever.
and be people.
Yeah.
How many have you got in your bag?
Oh, no, it's not gonna work.
Guys, we've been going for over an hour.
Yeah, no. Oh, no, I think we should just be live on this forever now, and it's not like a podcast, it's like a talkback radio show now. But, like, with no tagging out, we're here forever.
Or radio, or
Don't
talking back.
Don't forget, you're here forever.
I will not
Don't
forget.
talk back to me.
John's got a very intense look.
Out of the
back.
mouth to my
Don't
spine.
talk back to me.
Call that
okay?
talk back.
Son.
What the fuck, man?
Look, they're not all going to be winners, all right?
No, that was good.
I'm here for quantity.
That was good. Call me radio the way I...
Head. I think that's a sign that it's time, fellas. It's been wonderful.
What's gonna be your like funny bit that you get to put before the information?
Call this podcast the way it's on a computer.
What's gonna be your funny bit that you put before the music?
Surely
this
it'll be
week?
one of the rock bits we made with Autumn.
Yeah, good point. Also,
if
what are
you
gonna
don't hear
call
the
this
rock bits
episode?
now, you're going to be sad.
Call
I'm
this-
sorry, audience.
Anemone.
Oh, yeah, how do you spell that, bud?
I'll fix it. I'll work it out.
You'll fix it in post.
Anemone.
Anominem.
That's
Anom-
also not a spelling king.
A
Please don't spell it out loud live on air.
I.
Wait,
T.
where's the I?
He says don't spell it out loud on there. Wait, IT space OUT space
All right, I'm going to just make noises.
space
until I do.
LOUD.
Oh.
Wait, we didn't say bye. We didn't do an outro or anything.